York, the American Theater Wing and the Broadway League announced the 78th Annual Tony Award nominations recognizing Broadway's best. So, to tell us a bit more about the awards, their cultural and financial impact, and to pick apart the nominations with us is Dan Knechtges, Artistic Director of Houston's Theater Under the Stars, who is not only a Tony voter, but also a Tony nominee himself for the show Xanadu back in 2008.
Thanks.
Dan, welcome. So,
I wish the nomination came with a big check, but it did not
they
come
don't
with
come
a
with
check. Rats.
but bragging rights for the rest of your life.
Yes.
You will always be. And so this morning, shocked, surprised, expected?
Well, I was at the gym when the nominations, and so I'm, scrolling and trying to update, and I'm a grandpa with technology, so it was a little difficult. But yes, there were some surprises, I think. It's shocking that this year on Broadway, there were so many stars. They call it the starry season on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of stars that did not get nominated.
Denzel Washington, Jake Gyllenhaal, Jim Parsons, Robert Downey Jr., Sutton Foster, Idina Menzel, Nick Jonas. A lot of names you would recognize got overlooked.
Nick Jonas and Adrienne Warren. And Adrienne Warren won Best Actress for Tina Turner and did not get nominated.
It's kind of surprising because these big names have really brought Broadway back. I mean, George Clooney was making $3 million a week.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's considered bringing Broadway back or taking an awful lot of money out of
It's
Broadway.
making people say, you know what, I want to see some shows.
Yeah, and getting some press.
Yeah.
But so Frank brings up that point, and I wonder, is there a backlash to these, I don't want to call them carpetbaggers, but the Hollywood move in there?
That was my question, Ernie.
Yeah.
Well, there has been within the industry, there is talk about, movie stars coming in. I think that's bupkis. Like, that doesn't really hold water in the sense that there have always been stars on Broadway. Broadway created some of those stars. Yep. They're coming back. Idina Menzel is a theater person, that she is coming back. So I don't know if me personally, I don't think that. And also, I think anybody that's bringing anybody to the theater is great.
Good to go.
It's a good thing. And George Clooney's show is making $3 million a week as a play. That is incredible. That is a really high mark.
I'm so disappointed, and maybe this will change. Especially his last show is the night of the or the afternoon of the Tonys. In fact, they moved the matinee to 1 p.m.
Yeah.
So I guess he can go home and gussy up and then head and collect his award. But I'm so disappointed it's not going to be. I'm going to be there in late June, and I'm hoping they'll extend it. Any chance?
There is always a chance. I have a feeling he probably has another project coming up. And I think maybe to Ernie's point about carpetbagging, the one thing that is a little bit shady, if I could say, is that, a lot of the stars.
We like that word.
They just want to get in and get the nomination and possibly the award, and then they're out. Yeah. Instead of like working actors, Patti LuPone, I'm trying to think of some of these others who are in it for the long haul and they're in it for a year.
And you need that T for your EGOT, and that T is for the Tony. So you come in there, you get that, then you go
And
back.
that really wasn't a thing until very recently, that EGOT. And it was a much more harder thing, maybe in the past, but not.
Okay, you mentioned Patti LuPone. I'm sitting Shiva today that Patti did not get nominated, but her co-star Mia Farrow did, which great for Mia. What's going on with Patti there? What do you think?
Well, my personal opinion is I think it was a smaller role. She wasn't the first choice for that role. Right. She was like the fifth or sixth. And partly she did it as she and Mia are good friends, from what I've heard. And so it might not have been the best fit. And there's so much competition, 42 shows.
Right.
I saw her in Company.
Yeah.
I mean, she was okay.
Yeah.
Her big song, Here's the Ladies Who Lunch.
Yeah.
But she was just Patti LuPone.
I know. I'm clutching my pearls over
Patti
here.
Patti LuPone.
I didn't say she was bad or anything. I'm just saying.
I understand.
She was just kind of Patti LuPone doing, and maybe that's what she's.
Figure out how to turn off Frank's mic.
Maybe that. Well, you still think the cows come out of the barn. So what do you know? So, but I'm not saying that she was bad or anything. Do you think maybe she's become Patti LuPone, and no matter what she's doing, and you can't really see a character.
You can say that about Al Pacino.
That's your best friend. I
But,
know.
And
but
he's a great
what
actor.
I will say that, yes, I totally agree with that, partly because as an actor, and she has been in it since she was 16 or something.
And she's 104. No.
And so that body of work, how much range are you going to see in that length? Meryl Streep maybe, but even now we see Meryl Streep, the greatest American actress probably living, is that you see just you see some things repeated, and I think the same is for Patti LuPone.
Okay, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That means she's had a great career.
Yeah, she has had a great career.
Who didn't get nominated? Let's get back over to people who did get nominated.
Houston has two things to celebrate.
Yes.
That
Tell us.
One is Sadie Sink got nominated, who was in Stranger Things, but she also was in the 2011 Tuts production of Annie here in Houston. She's a Houston native, and she still refers to that as one of the greatest experiences. So yay, Houston.
Yay.
The second is really what I'm most excited about, because the horse race of all the categories is Best Leading Actress in a Musical. And
my God.
Houston has one, which is Jasmine Amy Rogers. She is I think she's not even 25 years old. She's from Houston. She won the Tommy Tune Awards in 2017 for playing the witch in her high school production. She went to the Jimmy Awards this year, of which I'm directing and choreographing. I'm going to toss that in
there.
And she is a star. Everybody is talking about Jasmine Amy Rogers. That is incredible. That hasn't happened on Broadway for a very long time, and from Houston in a very long time.
But
we should be very proud.
It's an honor to be nominated.
It is.
This is a tough category. You've got in there Audra McDonald from Gypsy and Nicole Scherzinger in Sunset Boulevard.
Who's fabulous.
Yeah. Who's going to take this one? What do you think?
Nicole.
Not who you're going to vote for.
Nicole.
Yeah,
have to
don't
tell
ask me that because I'm not allowed to say.
What do you think is going to do it? Is Audra's performance enough, and are they ready to give her her 7th Tony, or is this Sunset Boulevard just such a vehicle that's perfect for Nicole Scherzinger?
Well, I will say I think it's between 3. I think Jasmine Amy Rogers, because she's the talk of New York at the moment. Audra and Nicole. Now, we're not talking about the other two, which I think are going to split their votes,
Megan
which
Hilty.
is Megan Hilty and Jen Simard, who are both in Death Becomes Her and are so funny and doing something so unique and original.
And you know that from the film Death Becomes Her from years ago. It's been turned into a musical. It's in tie for the most nominations with 10 nominations this time.
It's wonderful.
I was in New York in December, and that was the buzz everyone was talking about on the street. It hadn't even opened yet, and everyone in the previews was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It's so funny. But I think it's between those 3. Audra has won 6 Tony Awards, I think.
6 so far. And this nomination makes her the most nominated performer of all time.
Yeah, she beats...
Did you see her?
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
I kind of thought she was Audra.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
No, she's great. She's the best voice on Broadway. I think. She's fabulous.
I don't think
fabulous.
Gypsy is right for her range, though. I think the jumping in head voice and chest voice kind of leaves you a little, where Nicole, the moment it was over, I wanted to go out and buy another ticket and see it again.
I did too.
I was so moved.
But did you also think the direction of Sunset was part of the thrill? I did.
Absolutely. The whole ride of it. It was like an amusement park ride that worked on every level.
And everybody was acting in the same play. I think that is the hallmark of good directing.
I know Celeste is trying to get in here to reset us here.
Yes.
So, reset us.
We're talking about the Tony Awards with Dan Knechtges. You can join the conversation at 713-440-8870.
If Dan and I will let you in.
Right.
I apologize.
It always turns into interviews. Whenever we have somebody in theater, Ernie's like, I've got to talk to them and y'all can't.
Well, because there's nobody better to talk about it than these two right here.
I want to go back to Sunset Boulevard, though, for a moment. For people who don't know.
Don't
it's a
spoil
total...
the ending.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
They give it to you at the beginning. It's a whole reimagine. And a little, bringing back Patti LuPone, tell me your thoughts on this. So... we know that Glenn Close is out there still wanting to make a movie version of her version of Sunset Boulevard, the musical. So Patti LuPone goes and sees this new version and then almost passes the torch on to Nicole Scherzinger, kind of leaving Glenn Close out in the... What do you think? Anything to that or no?
No.
Oh,
I don't
want a
think
good
there's.
scandal
I don't
there.
think there's anything to it. Honestly, I think Sunset's never going to happen as a musical movie. I don't think. But
Yeah.
there are crazier
But it
things.
is. This new production is amazing. Jamie
It's
Lloyd
amazing.
so deserves his nomination.
And it can only be done in theater, in my opinion.
Yes.
It really is that theatrical.
I'll be there June 21st.
You have to go see it.
Go see it.
No,
Yeah,
I'm-
you have
I have
to.
a ticket.
The
I have
other-
a ticket for June 21st.
the other
And it
musical-
closes the end of June.
The other musical that we should be celebrating in Houston, because there are several Houston producers on, is Buena Vista Social Club. And I saw that and I thought, wow, that music, incredible. The dancing, incredible. I loved it from top to bottom.
Is it based on the film?
It's based on the documentary.
Okay.
All Cuban music, and it is wonderful.
I love Cuban music.
Oh, it's so good. You have to go see it. It's really great. But Houston has several producers above the title producing that. They are from Houston.
Nice.
That's great. Another connection to Houston is also Dead Outlaw. And so we all know Dana Steele, radio legend in this town,
Love
also
Dana.
That's
has
right.
produced some.
Her son.
son, Dak, who was on one of my early shows when I was interviewing her, and he just kind of was there, is the stage manager, if I'm not mistaken.
And he also was a Tut student.
Yes, and
Yeah.
he is working now on a Broadway-nominated show. Tell them a little about what Dead Outlaw is. That fascinates me.
So I've seen most of the shows. I'm going back next week to clean up. I was waiting for the nominations. Dead Outlaw is one that I have not seen. However, I know that it started. This is really, really original, because as you're in radio, I think you'll appreciate this, is that it started as an Audible musical. Audible produced it at a very small theater about an idea, a germ of an idea, and it started down there off Broadway. It got great reviews, and sure enough, producers swept in and they made it a full-length evening and put it on Broadway, and it got fabulous reviews. But it is about a corpse that was taken
nobody
around.
collects his corpse. The undertaker tries to find a way to make some money off of it and ends up selling the body, which goes on to a career in showbiz, basically.
It's sort of like, what's the 80s movie where
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's.
He was in movies, and eventually they found him because
Yeah.
they were using his corpse in an episode of The $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre story, and
Yeah.
it got a musical treatment. I'm fascinated. How do you think the evening's going to end? Is it going to be an exciting night at the Tonys? Is it going to be one of those better ones?
And I
than
have to
years?
say, I think, a lot of people are talking about Broadway is back, Broadway is back. And behind the scenes, the economics of it, it is a tough, tough business because of all of this. There are very few shows that are going to make their money back in this initial run. Eventually, a lot of the shows, through licensing, through whatever, get their money back. But that's a 20-year horizon. So, but I think it's back in terms of the quality. And I know a lot of people, it's, these old
Yeah, we know what you're
hacks are like, oh, it's theater's dying. And I cry, that's not true, because of 42 shows opening, and we have many that are well-produced, well-reviewed, that did not get nominated. Smash was a New York Times critic pick and didn't make it. So there you go.
Dan Knechtges is the artistic director of Houston's Theater Under the Stars. Thanks for joining Ernie,
Thank
Frank, and
you.
I.